All right, class, let's talk about adjective clauses and adverb clauses. So you guys know that adjectives modify nouns, that's right? And adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs, right? They're the modifying modifiers, or modifiers, something like that. Anyway, in both cases, you could have just one word that's modifying, or you could have a set of words together that are modifying. If you've got a set of words together that are modifying something, that is called a clause. So an adjective clause is a set of words together that modify a noun, and an adverb clause are a set of words together that modify an adjective, a verb, or another adverb. So let's take a look at what this looks like and how we diagram it. All right. Diagramming 204, adjective clauses and adverb clauses. Our first example here is, let's just look at it. The grade that I got yesterday pleased my parents. Okay. So, what is the subject? Oops, gotta open my pen to use it. Just go ahead and start off with our straight line, right? We need a subject and we need a verb. The grade that I got yesterday pleased my parents. Well, grade. That's our subject right there, right? And we already know that the is modifying grade, right? That's an article. What's the grade doing in the sentence? Or what did it do? It pleased. And we know that there's a direct object because who was pleased? Parents. And they are mine. My parents. All right, the grade pleased my parents. Well, that is a complete thought, right? That's a complete sentence. The grade pleased my parents. But we have more to diagram here still. The grade that I got yesterday pleased my parents. So, how do we do that? Well, that chunk that I got yesterday, that is an adjective clause, all right? It's telling us which grade. Because that I got yesterday is modifying grade, right? Which grade pleased your parents? The one that I got yesterday. So what we're going to do is you're going to draw a dotted line. Looks like this. Or a dashed line, I guess. And we're going to connect it with the word that connects here. Okay, the grade that. So write that right down here. Now, this is where it gets kind of funky. All right? Because that is actually it's a direct object. Right? Because it is what was got. And who got it? You guessed it. I got that. That I got. When was it gotten? Yesterday. Now, how can you identify a clause? Well, what have we got here? We've actually got a whole different sentence. You know, we could cover up the top part. I got that yesterday. Well, that's a sentence, right? That's a complete thought. It has a subject. It has a verb, right? It even has a direct object, and it has a modifier. That could be a sentence on its own. Well, that's what makes it a clause, okay? A clause could be on its own, but it's not always on its own. This clause is being used to modify grade. That makes it an adjective clause because grade is a noun. All right. So unlike some sentences, this one is a little bit more difficult to read when it's on the diagram, because you kind of have to jump around. The grade that I got yesterday pleased my parents. So we really have two sentences here. The grade pleased my parents. I got that yesterday, right? Okay, let's look at the next one. Here we've got something a little bit different. When I got home from school, I ate an apple. And you know what? I forgot to throw a comma in here. When I got home from school, comma, I ate an apple. All right. When I got home from school, I ate an apple. So what is actually happening here? Well, sometimes you might look at this and it'd be easy to say, oh, I got home from school. Is that right? Is that what's actually happening? That is not. See, we've got this indicator right here. When. When shows that this whole chunk that comes after shows a relationship in time, right? So what's actually happening is I ate an apple. Well, that's easy enough to diagram, right? I is the subject. Ate is the verb. We've got a direct object. Apple. And an is modifying apple. I ate an apple. Now, we've got this clause, when I got home from school. What's that modifying? Hopefully you said ate. It's modifying ate because it's showing us when that apple was eaten, right? It's not modifying apple. It's not modifying I. It is modifying ate. So, we again need our dashed line. Of course, ate is a verb, so this is not an adjective clause. This is an adverb clause. So, we've got the dotted line coming down. Now, since we have this indicator word when, it's introducing this clause, right? That introductory word, instead of that is a pronoun, right? So that is connected here because grade is the antecedent of that, right? Because we could replace grade or that with grade. But here, when is not a pronoun. When is a preposition, right? So that preposition, instead of being, it's not going to be the direct object of the clause. It really doesn't have any place in the clause. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it right here on the side. It goes on that dashed line, kind of like a conjunction. Okay, when what? When I got home from school. Well, since we've taken care of when, we can put our thumb over that. I got home from school. That's a super easy thing to diagram. I got... Here, I'll draw my lines, right? I is the subject. Got is the verb. Oops, let's do that better. Got is the verb. And then we've got a direct object. Where did you get? Well, that's not right. Sorry, it's not a direct object. It's a modifier. I got what? I got how. I got home. I got home, and I also got prepositional phrase from school. All right. Now the when is showing the relationship between ate and got, right? So that's where it goes right down that line. All right. So those are pretty easy, right? It's pretty easy to figure those out. I'm not going to take too much time on them. So go ahead and get your homework for today and get started on it. Thanks.